Good morning. It seems that these people that run this country think they can do whatever they like, whenever they like, and go about it, lie, cheat, and steal, which is what the inquiry into the election is all about. However, one of the issues raised was the use of an outside company to run the elections. Do I trust that company? No. Should anybody in this country trust that company? No. When you pay somebody to do an election, you do it for a reason. And that is to take away the authority of the people and manipulate that election, which I believe took place from all the evidence. So, Dodgy Roger, you are not the Premier. You are not a nothing anyway, except a fraud and a liar, and you've always been that. And you do not represent the lawful state of Western Australia, created under the Constitution. You represent the state created under the Acts Amendment Repeals Court and Legal Practice Act. That has absolutely no authority, and you're not going to have it anymore. Why? Because you're going to stand trial for treason. That's not your choice. It's not the choice of the police, the federal police, and any of your thugs that you send after people like me who tell the truth. You're not going to get away with it. This is the Constitution, the supreme law of this country. Like it or lump it, that's it. This is the Constitution of Western Australia, the supreme law of Western Australia. There goes your Acts Amendment Repeals Court and Legal Practice Act and the bodgy state you created under it. Proving treason against the Labor Party, the Liberal Party, the National Party and the Greens, because you all know and have done nothing about it. You all know. How do I know? I've been instrumental helping a friend to show you, but you weren't interested. And it gets to a stage when you've had a guts full of the lies and fraud, you stand up and do something about it. I've been doing it since I first started reading the Constitution, a lot of years ago. 50 years ago, January just passed, I became a police officer to try and do something about it. Guess what? You are choked, held down and prohibited from doing and following the true law. You are bound by what they call rules, regulations and acts, have no validity in law whatsoever. So, I'm not going to go into big details, but this is a letters patent for the Office of Governor General. I showed you the other day. This is a letters patent for constituting the Office of Governor for Western Australia. I showed you that. This is the act that says how you will run elections in this country, in this state and every other state. Why is it here? It's here so you'll have a direction to follow, and you never did. So what follows now is an ultimatum, based on what I'm going to say. The letters patent for office of governor. Once the Speaker of the House, of both houses of Federal Parliament, presents the documents to the Governor-General to prorogue the Parliament, he prorogues it, and the writs are issued to the governors of the states. Why are they? To comply with this. When they are sent to the governors of the states, the governor of the states puts out the documents. The documents are contained in this so that people like, well, for instance, Madison King, she can fill out one of those documents and put her name up as a candidate. Independent, obviously, and that's the only way you can do it. Sorry, Madison, I'm not attacking you. You've got integrity, you've got guts. occasionally you say a few words that I don't use, and I don't suggest you keep using them because it takes away from your personality. You're a strong person. Keep doing what you're doing, but make application to be selected by the governor as a candidate. Now, the only thing that changes with federation with this act, and it's changed by a superior act being the Commonwealth Constitution Act, is the boundaries are removed. So then the state becomes one electorate. Says it for the... I like what Karen Brewer suggests. No, it's crap and it won't work. And I know it won't work. It's been tried. She just wants to make out that she knows everything and she doesn't. Sorry, Karen, but you're wrong. Now, let's look at this objectively without people putting their comments on mine. I'll delete them if you get mouthy. And that's not to subdue your view. My view is what's going on here, and it's based on the law. We have two electorates, one for the lower house, one for the upper. One for the lower house, one for the upper. We vote for one person once. Where do I get that from? Section 7, Section 8 of the Commonwealth Constitution, Section 30. How is it binding on the states? 107, 108 and 109 establishes the states, and they draw their authority referentially from the Commonwealth Constitution Act 1900 UK and the Constitution derived from it. The problem we have is the lying political parties and the liars who think they know everything and they call themselves professors when they know diddly squat, nothing. That's why I'm issuing you an ultimatum. You think I can't do it? Well, I proved who I was in the court. I proved I was appointed lawfully, and I also stated I'm bound by law to report it to the authorities. We don't have any in this country. We don't have any. You can't speak yourself into being. You can't speak an authority into being. Kirby made that correct. Kirby's not 100% correct in a lot of things, but he had the right idea and his heart was for Australia, from what I could see. Now, the Governor-General must send the writs to the state governors. They, and they only, collect all the candidates into a pool of people based on the applications which I've explained are in this document, which I tried to explain to others, but they wanted me to single them out and give them all the information. Well, when you only have one photo on your page, I don't believe you. So I just keep you along until I'm ready to put what the truth has to be. The truth is, once the election's called by the Governor-General, it becomes a responsibility of the governors of the states to run the elections. There's no AEC, there's no electoral commission, there's no electoral act, either at state or federal. This is the electoral act, an imperial law that you're bound by under the provisions of Clause 5 of the Constitution and the colonial laws within the Act, not some Victorian Act that tries to take control of that so that they can change it. They're not statutes. They're nothing that can be interfered with by clowns calling themselves politicians. So nothing you've done in this country is lawful. The only option is to take the 600 billion or million or whatever it is that's stored away in the Futures Fund and create 6 lawful governors. Forget about the Governor-General, just for now. Once you've established the 6 lawful governors, put the 6 lawful original constitutions of each individual created state in place. They're letters patent, they can't be changed, they haven't been changed or altered, nor have you got the power to do it. You don't have the power to do it. If you do, show me in the Constitution and I'll concede you're correct, but you're not. There's never been a lawfully established federal parliament. Who said so? The political parties. Do you comprehend what I've just said? When they created a political party outside the provisions of this, they created blatant treason. Therefore, they never had the 6 states to create the first federal parliament, nor the Treaty of Versailles, the League of Nations, the United Nations. All those so-called agreements that destroyed this country were all fraud and treason against the people. Bob Hawke admitted it in one of his final lectures. He said, I want to thank my party for taking us where I wanted you to go. He didn't give a hang about Australia. The letters withheld by the High Court from Queen Elizabeth, they are from the Crown in right of the people. They are our letters. The High Court has no right whatsoever at any time to withhold those letters. Those letters must be brought out. They must be explained to the people. The sacking of Gough Whitlam means he should have stood trial for the treason he committed. Why didn't he? Oh, good old Labor Party, not going to do that. Why didn't they lock Bob Hawke up? Why didn't they lock up Keating? When you floated our currency on the world market, why weren't you locked up? When you changed our currency from pounds, shillings and pence, our system from imperial to metric, all acts of treason, not done with the people. Don't come out with the Australia Act as this. It has nothing. And Toomey lied when she said it didn't have a referendum. It had to have a referendum. It had to have. Anything else is a lie. Sky Marion, we're not discussing that. What you got to do is understand what has to happen. The only thing that can happen, take the 600 billion that you've got in the futures fund, use it for the good of this country. It's not your money. It's stolen from taxpayers. Stop paying the United Nations. Stop having anything to do with those idiots. We did not join them. The political parties did. The Green Constitution belongs to the political parties. It is not the official constitution. The Hansard attached to the red one, red constitution, and the contents of the red constitution are fact. They're how the constitution was put together, interpreted, and anything else. So the ultimatum you have is abort the federal election. You can't have no choice but to do that because you don't have 6 states. You've never had them. Since 1975, there's never been any states, but originally you never had them. So there's no lawful state parliaments. Until there is, there's nothing. Yeah, Karina, and you got it correct. It's not stolen land. You have another look at what's going on and you'll understand it's not stolen. It's not stolen. Stolen public offices, stolen public money, none of that's true. And I'll explain it if you ever take the time to contact me and I can show you where what you're saying is not correct. Now, let's look at it this way. Nothing's been done since Federation to correct the problem or correct the fact that whereas the people of all the areas known as states or to become states under the Constitution, whereas the people of all those places joined together in one indissoluble federation, the Commonwealth of Australia, none of us were alive, none of us owned anything now that was owned then. None of us. It was all taken off all of us. We didn't ask to come here. We were born here. We're native if we're born here. We're indigenous if we're born here. And the term Aboriginal is ambiguous in its own construction. It's garbage. You are natives of this country if you're born here. You have to be naturalised into the British Empire to be here, not become citizens under their ridiculous nonsense acts. So the ultimatum I have to all these political parties, and Malcolm McCusker, as you look into that, you will know that this document says you cannot have an outside company. It doesn't say it in the words. It says who runs the elections. So where is the authority for a parliament representing the people to step outside of supreme law and run an election run by a company that you can manipulate? How did you do it? It said subsidiary companies of that one had a contract with you or an agreement with you to develop the old Belmont racecourse. And if that's true, you've got a lot of problems lawfully. I'm not discussing it. That rumour has that. I have no evidence of that, although it came from a lot of reliable people, and I guess they wouldn't tell lies about that particular thing, but that's up to them to substantiate what they've said. The fact of the matter is, an outside company has no right to do anything in this country. You need our permission. The supreme, absolute and uncontrollable authority remains with us. Yeah, Mal, you got that right. Look, the issue of the day is, and it's permanent for this country, till we put every state constitution back in its original form, we don't have state parliaments. The rest are traitors and frauds and liars. I don't care. I do know a lot of people in political parties, and I know and respect all of you as human beings, but I do not respect what you stand for, nor will I ever. People never voted for political parties. If they had some value, you would have put it to the people, and then we would have put it out there as law. We would. We, the people who are supreme and sovereign in our own right. You are not. So all the ravings from so-called professors are lies. The Parliament is not above the High Court. The Parliament is not above the Constitution. Both houses of Parliament are under the Constitution. Page 676 of our Constitution state that. So the ultimatum is, where do we go from here? Everybody keeps saying, what do? We have the right to petition the reigning monarch to dissolve the parliaments of this country and reinstate our constitution lawfully in this country. Can you overturn that right? No. Can you take it away from us? No. You cannot take anything away from the right of the people who are sovereign and supreme. Doesn't matter what colour you are. Doesn't matter where you came from. If you're lawfully here and you complete 5 years, which a couple 100,000 blow-ins a few months ago haven't, so they're not lawful. They're not. You cannot change the Immigration Act outside of the Constitution, and you did. Where did you get permission of the people? But where you can't figure it, Gough Whitlam altered the Immigration Act in 1973 and backdated it to 1948. He nullified the Act. He nullified the Act. It has no value in law. You modified a fraudulent Act. Boo-hoo, so what? Wake up to the fact that 1.4 billion people Labor have dragged into this country with all these promises and given them all these so-called rights, which people are coming out with what they get. I don't know if any of that's true, and I'm not going to repeat it until I know. But if you've done that, with our money, you are going to stand trial for treason. You're going to lose everything you got. Why? Because that's the Treason Felony Act. It's not up to you. It is up to us. We are sovereign and supreme, as I've stated. We the people. You think you have everything on your side. You have nothing. Dodgy Roger, I saw a video when that Aboriginal or native lady was questioning you. You are a slimy little weasel with no guts. That's my opinion on the fact that you and that other slime walked away without answering her. Why did you do that? Why couldn't you, if you had any guts whatsoever, which I doubt you've got, why couldn't you stand there and talk to those ladies? There was no threat on you, and the goon that kept trying to push her out of the way, that's assault. She has every right to be there, so does every Australian, because we're paying that clown to represent us. Why wasn't she given a chance? Why wasn't she given a chance to have her say, to ask the questions? They were lawful questions. Why are you giving all our things away? You can't. You're stealing it and giving it to foreign companies. And for that, everything you got in your bank account, everything you own, your kids own, read the law. The lot is returned to the people because you've stolen everything you got. And even your kids can't benefit. I'm just looking at some of the comments. When I vote, I am going to write no confidence in the PM. That's a waste of time. Sorry, Grace, it's a waste of time. I'm not putting the rest of your name. The Uni Party, we know exactly what all of these clowns have been doing, Mel. We know exactly what they've been doing. It's finished. There cannot be a lawful federal election until there are 6 lawful states. There are none. Everyone has changed its constitution. As I said yesterday, New South Wales admitted they had changed their constitution in 1902 when they created all the magistrates as judges and changed the 1902 constitution of New South Wales. It doesn't exist in law. You admitted that you put another constitution in place, and that took place in August 1902. Check it, you'll see what I'm saying is correct. So, big noting yourself saying, oh, we're giving him prestige. You're giving him nothing. You still have to have a quarter penny sessions. You're putting people in danger of going to jail on a stupid little misdemeanor or simple offence they've committed. You don't have a court to deal with it so that you can give lawyers more control. No lawyer can hold a position under the Crown. No Catholic can hold a position under the Crown. Wake up to that fact. Read your British law. The religion of this country is Protestant. Like it or lump it, that's how it is. You don't have to follow it. You are free to follow your own religion under the provisions of 116 of the Constitution. No government can legislate against a person's religion. No government can question a person's religion. And no religion can be used to prohibit somebody going into the public service. You know that. You are creating a new religion that suits you. Well, boo-hoo, it's not. Magna Carta, you didn't change any of it. It's not been changed by either the British Parliament or Australian. It doesn't exist. Martin Taylor, politics is not the solution as it is the causation of all the crimes against the Constitution. Yeah, I agree. I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about booting the lot out, going back to the state constitution where this denotes or states how you run elections. If they run according to that, you personally, if you want to, Martin, can stand for Parliament. You fill out one of the little documents, present it to the governor. He selects a pool of people. You vote for one person once for the upper house, one person once for the lower house. You represent the whole state. The whole state. When you elect it for the Senate, that's for the whole state. Why did they take it off the House of Representatives? Because they can manipulate the system. When I filed against the governor of this state, it's because he signed off on unlawful laws to allow gerrymandering or the establishment of political control electoral boundaries in this state where you manipulated and took the rights of the country people to have any say. Don't say you didn't, because the statistics show it, and that's what I filed. And the purported judges who are only quorums, a quorum is a person impersonating a judge who isn't, they ruled against me. So what? You go to battle, you go to win or lose. I went to win. Eventually they got nothing, and I don't care. So as far as I'm concerned, the only way is before the election is to close the federal election, because you can't. There are no states to create it, and don't say there are. There were never 6 states that conferred to create the Australia Act, so if you're relying on that, you're lying. You're not misleading, you're lying. It's available for you to read. Read the Constitution 5138, which is what you rely on to do it. You didn't have the control of the parliaments of all the states. They didn't exist from the time they removed their constitutions, and there were no enabling acts. So let's stop the crap. Let's stop teaching politicians, oh, you've got the right. No, you've got no rights. You've got the right to get out of our system and create it back under the Constitution. It is the supreme law of this country. So I'm not going any further than that. You've got an ultimatum. If you do not withdraw it, I'll take the appropriate action, and you will comply, because eventually the people will wake up and make you. And you should think that's in the distant future. No, it's not. It's now. Now is the time for you to fix the problem, to do it. It's not misinformation, disinformation. It's not wrong. It's 100% correct, taking off law. Use it. It is law that stands. You never have the power to change any of it. Yeah, Julie, we're sovereign and supreme. Right, that's it. End of this lecture, because I'm not going to take it any further. I'm not going to stop there. Believe me.